We made the drive down 88 off exit 10 in Unadilla, just a short drive to find this hidden gem of a brewery.
Today we're going to find out what's on tap here at Muddy River Farm Brewery.
Across the nation, people have turned the hobby of crafting beer into a lifestyle. Amazing breweries are only a few minutes away from your own home.
From nano to regional or micro to macro, the question you won't need to ask is what's on tap. Back in 2011, Jared Wood decided to grow hops right where he grew up.
And then in 2018, it was time to open up Muddy River Farm Brewery. And ever since then, business has been booming.
All right, so Jared, thank you for, having us out here.
Cheers.
I've been, I've known you forever. This is cool. This is a really cool episode because, Jared, you and me go way back, but way back to where I was this tall, maybe?
Yeah, yelling at you in the hallways of the school.
Yeah, and now here I am drinking your beer at your brewery.
Yeah,
so
cool.
How did you, first of all, not just the brewery, how'd you get started brewing?
Right about the time that you were this tall, in my young 20s, I guess I consider myself more of a fermenter because that's how I started. I wasn't doing beer at first. I was experimenting with wild fruits and making wines, and then I got into box wines, and then I got more serious into making wines straight from grapes. So from there, anything that I could ferment, anything sauerkraut, so on and so forth. So I've been doing that since my early 20s, and then when this whole idea came around is when I got into the details of brewing beer on top of fermenting.
And what sparked the idea to open the brewery, and how on earth were you able to get this great of a location? This is perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Back in 2011, I believe, Governor Cuomo had an initiative for growing hops and growing barley to basically supply his plan to have, a New York brewery scene. And we're seeing it right now. I mean, this is the New York brewery scene, and it started with his initiatives, and that's how we started. We looked into growing hops, and that's what we did. We have a 1 acre hop yard behind the building, and we started that in 2012. And after, 5 years of doing that, we thought, well, instead of just selling hops, let's make some beer. So we just went for it. The location is where I grew up. So I've had this property to play and have a good time with my whole life, and my parents were always having people here visiting and hanging out by the river, so I just wanted to continue that with this brewery and let other people enjoy what I got to have for my whole life.
Muddy River is a farm brewery. While Jared has his own hop farm at the brewery and grain from a New York malt house, there are some challenges when brewing when some hops are just not found in the state.
Yeah, so New York State has multiple different licenses for brewers. And we're a farm brewery. And what a farm brewery is a brewery that we're required to produce beer using New York State ingredients. So that's been a major focus for us, as it is for most farm breweries. So for us, having the hop yard helps. We're using our hops, but we also we're exclusive with our grains, our malts from 1886 Malt House up in Fulton, New York, and those guys are awesome. They've been here. They've hand-delivered grain to me. I mean, they're really tight-knit little company there. So I'm 100% malts. When it comes to hops, I'm close. I'm like 90%. It's hard with New York State because some of those aromas are just not here in the area. So if I'm looking for a real juicy flavored beer, I got to pull some hops from outside of state.
With a beautiful location right on the Susquehanna River, if it were any other year, Muddy River Farm Brewery would be hosting some awesome events. In
a normal year, we typically have 1 or 2 events per month. They're smaller, live bands. We have the canoe regatta is a big thing in this area in late May. So we put on a pretty big show, just live bands, and people get to watch the canoe race right here on the river. So And then at the end of the year, we have what we call our Oktoberfest, which we do, German-style Oktoberfest games. We do the keg tosses, we do the beer stein holding. We call it Oktoberfest because we bring the taco truck out, and we just have a good time.
Muddy River is growing every year, even with this being none of the owner's full-time jobs, but future plans for the brewery might include just that.
Next, I'd like to get a little more involved in canning. I do have a canner. It's a one can at a time canner. We did that during the pandemic. We canned for the people, and it went really well, but it takes forever, one can at a time. Jeez. So I'd like to explore that. I know Ostruck Ciders is right down the road. They have a canning machine, so we'll be working together to solidify that. Future plans, I would love to have a second location, not too far away, but far enough where there's two different populations, and and maybe make it the full-time thing. We'll see.
So the three of us finished our beers, and then Jared took us up to where he makes it all happen. Even though we barely fit, that doesn't stop Jared from churning out some tasty beer.
This is a 3-barrel system from Stout Tanks out of Oregon. I absolutely love it. They're all independent tanks. So I have my mash tun here, I have my hot liquor tank here, and my boil kettle here. So it's a all grain system. 3 barrels is a big step from 1.5, but it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's definitely a lot more volume to move around. Right now, in these 3 here, I made a wheat ale. I split it in 3 different flavors. So basically, this would be a plain old wheat ale. And this one here, I added mango juice pulp to it, and then this one will be a cherry wheat. So and then just yesterday, I finished this tank here, and that is going to be a brute pale ale, or like a real dry pale ale. I call it the leaf hopper. Leaf hoppers are actually a species of bug that love to destroy hops, so it's kind of like a punch in the face of that name when I bring it on. The wheats will be done in a couple weeks. I mean, the process is after you're done, making your beer, it goes into the fermenters, and then it ferments for about a week or so, and then 3 weeks to clarify and settle, and then I just basically hand keg it. We're a pretty nano brewing system here, so
these should be on tap when this episode comes out.
Couple weeks. This will be ready in a couple weeks.
Muddy River here.
Yeah. This one might be ready too by that time. We're pushing 3 weeks on 3-4 weeks on that one. So.
Awesome. Full taps up there. How often is it that you create new beers, or you kind of have your pretty much set lineup you come through year after year?
Yeah, it's difficult actually because I brew about once a week. It's all I can really do right now. So with the high demand, with the people here, it's hard to spend time creating more beer. So oftentimes I'm repeating the same ones that are popular. But that's what I use the wintertime for, is to kind of play. I think right now I'm up to 20 different kinds of beers right now. So, and I keep it seasonal, what's popular for the seasons.
With so many different beers, Jared needs to make sure his ingredients are well stocked. So we took a short walk from where Jared brews the beer to where he grows the beer. Well, the hops at least.
The one thing when you're driving by, you notice this. I mean, the hop farm. This is, for me, even I feel like we haven't seen a lot of just hop farms in general here.
Right.
This is really cool. What do you got growing?
We have 4 different varieties. We have Chinook, Centennial, Nugget, and Willamette. Chinook is a pioneer style hop. Most of them are multi-use, so you can bitter it or you can use it for aroma. Willamette is probably the one that's probably the least bitter but has maybe the most aroma, and that's what we're standing by here right now. These are Willamette hops. You can go ahead and pick one off if you want. In fact, I'll make you do it.
Feel bad, that's a lot of hard work
pick
being
a good
plucked
one.
away.
Yep.
So should I keep it and I'll make a beer out of it?
Yeah, one beer. Yeah, this will make one sip.
One glass.
I tell you what, I dare you to eat it. No, don't. No, they're very, very bitter.
I can only imagine.
So if you take it and you split it wide open, you'll see what we call lupulin, and that's what those little yellow fuzzies are.
Oh yeah.
And they're not quite ready yet. You can kind of tell everything's green, But that's where you're getting your oils, your essential oils, and that's what you're getting your bittering and your aromas from.
These hops, I mean, these are what make the beer. We're ready to taste the beer. So if it's all right with you, I think it's time for us to pour 4.
Awesome, sweet.
We got 3 beers here from Muddy River. Let's start wherever you want to start. Let us know.
We're going to start with the closest one to you. So that's our lager. That's the Golden Dog lager. It's made with German yeast. So essentially, I'm looking for a really easy drinker, but I wanted to give it a little, more than just a lager, and that's where the German yeast comes in right there. It's a single hop, just nugget hops for light bitter. It's like IBU of maybe 20, maybe less. It's named after Jingles, the famous golden lab that runs around here.
This is great. I mean, definitely, you got it. Easy drinking. When you're sitting outside, here, I feel like you can go for anything here.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to come here and relax, and that's where every beer comes into play.
After a hard day of kayaking or canoeing down the river, you stop in for a few of these.
That's right.
It's perfect.
Yep. It's and that was the whole point with this. It's 4.6, I believe. Sometimes it fluctuates. We don't can commercially, so we don't have to follow too strong rules as long as we label it correctly. But I believe this version's 4.6. I forgot to mention it's also Munich malts as well, so that's where the German side of it comes from. So.
Hey, Jingles.
Jingles.
Come here, Jingles. This is your beer.
Is yours.
You can't have any, but it's your beer. Look, we get Jingles in too.
Yeah.
This is the Golden Dog.
Yep.
So this is the Johnny Darter. It's an amber ale. One of the things, obviously, we're really river-based and environmentally based. So this is a fish that lives in the Susquehanna River. It's a small fish, lives under rocks, and it resembles the same profile of coloring as this amber. This is probably one of my favorite beers that I brew. Maybe not for the flavor, even though the flavor's yummy. I'm more of a session IPA guy, but the color, I just feel like I got the color dead on for an amber, and it's just such a pretty beer. So.
Yeah. A little bit of roastiness to it, and I think that, I've said it before in an episode where the next step up from your lager, I think, is going to an amber where you're getting a little bit more flavor and having it. And this is great. And so now I know what a Johnny Darter is too. Johnny, what is it? Johnny
Darter.
Darter.
Yeah,
Darter.
Darts.
Darter.
Yeah.
Darter. And like you said, the color is beautiful. Really well done for an amber. And
Thank you.
A little more rich.
Yeah.
I would assume with these on tap, probably the richest one that you have most of the time. It's beautiful summer beer though.
Thank you. This is the Delco.
Delco.
It's a Delco IPA. It's named after Delaware County, and so all the hops that are profiled in this beer are from Delaware County. It's got our hops in it. It has Eagle Landing hops and Catskill Hops Company. IPAs from hops in New York State are very mild. They're very smooth. You don't get a lot of citrus. You get some lemon flavor out of it. This one here has Arch Chinooks. It has Eagle Landing's Pearl hops, which are hard to get, so we're happy to have those. And then I don't remember what the Catskill hops there is in there, but regardless. So I'm not a huge New England style beer maker. I tend to kind of float between a traditional IPA and a West Coast IPA, and I think that's what this is right here.
Yeah, and like you said, with these hops, very smooth, not a lot of bitterness to it. And I'm more of a New England IPA guy.
Yeah.
I like it like that, but this was the first one that I got when I came here a few weeks ago when we were here just checking it out, and I was drawn right to it. Any sort of IPAs, that's usually what I gravitate towards. And this is one that you could sit there, you have a couple, and again, just taking in the river, taking in the environment, just really having a good time, enjoying yourself.
It's important to me to be able to have more than one beer. So a lot of our beers, I know some breweries focus on high octane ABV. I'm trying to stick around the 4.5 to 6.5%, and that's where this is. It's at 6%. So
607.
607. That's right. It's our area code. So it's important that somebody can enjoy 2 or 3, and obviously have a designated driver, but be able to be having a good time without any other issues, and that's so important here. We're here to have a good time. We're not here to have any issues. So, and that is definitely related to the kind of styles of beer that I brew. So.
I think everything that you were describing it as I was like thinking it in my head, which was crazy because all of us you went from smooth, and then you said there's not much citrus, but there's a little bit of lemon you'll get, and I'm like, wow, I just literally got that hint of lemon. And it's small, but it's there.
It's there. Yeah.
Appreciate this. This has been great. I'm looking forward to what you got coming next, and we'll be back for that. For sure.
Good. Thanks for having me, man. Or thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Checking it out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
really.
there you go.
Thanks for having us. This has been awesome.
I'm drinking the Golden Dog.
After Jingles.
Golden Dog. Golden Dog after Jingles.
I personally love Muddy River. I love Jared. I love Christina. I love everything that they stand for.
It's a great place to come and relax.
Outside, down by the river.
Can't beat it.
I'm drinking the Johnny Darter. It's an amber ale.
I have the Golden Dog, which is the lager. It's awesome.
It's very pretty. It's very easy just to come sit here on a Sunday afternoon, getting all the vibes. Yeah, so I'm from North Carolina. So I'm from the East Coast of North Carolina. Everything there is very flat. There's not much to look at unless you're by the water on the ocean. However, here you have the hills in the background. You have the running river behind you. Everybody here has their families. It's just a really nice place.
Really relaxing.
Yeah, very nice place to come and hang on a Sunday afternoon.
If someone is interested in getting a Muddy River beer on one of their taps, a bar during the winter, how are they getting a hold of you? How are they getting this together?
Email muddyriverbrewery@gmail.com is the easiest. That way I have it on record and I don't forget. So yeah, email is probably the best way to reach out.
What's the worst that could happen?
Follow me.
Dude, there's no way. We're gonna make it. We're actually gonna make it.
Don't get cocky, because I'm losing sight of the path. This is the B-roll. If he's not getting this.
Jingles, how do you do this?
What the hell? Yeah, we're good. Come here, bud.
I'll just throw it. Well, that ends our day here at Muddy River. Can't thank Jared enough and everybody here. What an awesome time, but I think this is the biggest mistake we have made so far.
Yeah, we made it across the river. Now the biggest thing is following Jingles back over the other side. But be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram so you can see where our journey takes us next on What's on Tap.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Where'd your stick go?